Hello, Dagmara here. Welcome you from Sweden, from Einsbacka Course and Festival Center, when I spend the whole summer taking courses, and recently I even held a workshop here as well. And in my workshop, and talking to people and talking to my new clients, I've noticed that there is a misconception or maybe misinterpretation about the inner child work, what that really is. And it's not only meditation, it's not only holding our little self, it's not only freeing the child within me, meaning having fun and party and be joyful as a child. It's all of that as well, but mainly what it is, it's the basis of that work for me is to integrate our emotional experiences that happen in our childhood, mainly from the age 0 to 7, or even before we were born, and releasing and integrating the emotions that were suppressed, that we've been holding suppressed for many years, depending how old you are. If we haven't done this work consciously, those emotions are still suppressed. They not magically disappear. So whichever way you are brought up in our society, I believe majority of us suppressed emotions on daily basis. For example, in my childhood, I was not allowed to express anger. It wasn't welcome, or I was punished for it. I was not allowed to be sad, because then I was told there is nothing to be sad about, there is nothing to cry about, you should smile, and basically you should do what I want you to do. That was, in a nutshell, obviously, my childhood, as well as accompanied by emotional manipulation. And I think that's something common that happens, not only, it didn't only happen in my childhood, I see that it's happening also often in, not maybe in my adulthood, because I'm aware of it, but I see how people say things to themselves and how they react, how they do not take responsibility for their own emotions. And for example, in my childhood, and I'm sure you can relate to that, I often heard things like, stop behaving like that, you make me angry, or finish the soup, or I'm gonna be sad, or I'm gonna be angry at you. So the basically the information that we get as a child is that what we do influences other people emotional states, which is not true, because the emotional state, it's a reaction to what is happening, and it has nothing to do with other people's behavior. It's just our personal trigger. And unhealthy, unintegrated behavior is when we manipulate, or we hold other people in charge of the fact how we feel. And this is emotional manipulation, but maybe I'll talk about it in some other video. So again, coming back to the inner child work, why is it important? It is important because in this age, from 0 to 7 years old, we are exposed to a lot of emotional suppression, a lot of uncomfortable situations, and all of that was imprinted in our physical body, our emotional, the way we felt about the world, our emotional experiences. And often, because there was no proper guidance, we had to suppress those emotions, and obviously it's a generational thing. Our parents suppressed their emotions, their parents suppressed their emotions, and then they put their emotional imprint on us when we were born. So basically, we still, as an adult, if we did not integrate those emotional experiences from the past consciously, we still react from this child point of view, from this child perspective. Because emotionally, since we were 7, in our development, nothing new occurred. It's a repetition of all those experiences, coping mechanisms and feelings they repeat through our entire life. And if we do not do the work consciously, we hold these suppressed emotions, and that's why in our adult life we experience uncomfortable circumstances, we experience difficult relationships, we repeat the same patterns in our romantic relationships, at work, in dynamics with our co-workers, with our bosses. And if any of you experience any pattern in your life, in your emotion, in your, for example, love life, in your romantic life, in your work life, in your financial life, there is a pattern, then this pattern originated in your childhood, and this pattern actually has strong emotional component that is stronger than the mind. That's why the inner child work refers to emotional work. It's an emotional release, it's an emotional integration, it's acknowledging of certain emotional states in order to integrate them so the pattern then can change. Mentally changing the pattern, it's not very easy because the reaction is emotional, and the cause of our current physical experiences doesn't really lie in our present physical circumstances, not in our current thought forms, but it lies in this 7-year emotional cycle, and that one is the cause of our current uncomfortable experiences. So when we realize that, then it's actually, in a certain way, it's, from one point of view, it could be a negative, not negative, but maybe like a depressing perspective, because from 0 to 7 we don't have much choice to, we are not very aware what's going on in our world. We have no choice to stand up for ourselves or react. We are just children that emotionally and want to survive. So from one part it could be depressing. Oh, in this most absorbent years of our lives, we actually, everything happened, and now we are the people that we are. But from the other point of view, it's actually very freeing, because now we know when the work should be done, and there are different approaches, and from my experience, the somatic approach and the emotional release approach, emotional integration, and the inner child work is the basis of that work, of integrating those emotional experiences that happen in this period of 0 to 7. So then we can change those patterns on the subconscious level, because the patterns are subconscious. We are often not aware of them, and I wasn't aware of my patterns for many years, but they reoccur. We have inside of us, we have the same reaction, we have the same needs. They are hardly ever met. We feel uncomfortable, we need to drink alcohol, we need to smoke weed, we need to do a lot of sports, we need to move from country to country, we need to change the job, we need to change the partner, etc., etc., etc. And then we repeat another pattern. And again, from my experience, I know the mental patterns have roots in emotional experiences. So in order to change those mental patterns, we need to, I would say, change our emotional experiences from the past, which means reintegrate them, release, maybe sometimes relieve, depending on the situation, open up, acknowledge, and fragment them back, because we are defragmented, and everything that happens in our life, it's a repetition of that pattern from 0 to 7. So I want to invite you to start working with your inner child, look for resources, how to work with emotional release, how to work with emotional integration. I'm a practitioner of those methods and a life coach. So if you don't know where to start, or would you like more information about it, or you want to work with me, just contact me. And thank you very much, and hope to see you soon. Thank you.